Newcastle are unchanged, with goalkeeper Gary Kelly continuing to deputise for the injured Martin Thomas, and their talented midfield player Paul Gascoigne is also out injured. If you're wondering why Mirandinha is not wearing the celebrated Newcastle number 9 shirt, the reason is that Brazilian strikers tend to prefer the number 10 in respect for the incomparable Pelé. Well, I know one man who won't mind that comparison is Liverpool's John Barnes, because he's in their number 10 shirt with the former Geordie hero Peter Beardsley at number 7. That jersey previously reserved for manager Kenny Dalglish, and at one time at both these clubs, of course, for Kevin Keegan. Liverpool, in fact, field the formation that finished Tuesday's match against Charlton, which means Steve Nicol is in midfield and Mark Lawrenson plays at left back, despite wearing the number 9. And Liverpool, in the red shirts, of course, will kick off against a Newcastle side who are modelling a smart new kit this season, but still obviously the distinguished black and white stripes. Alan Hansen getting it forward, then David McCreary. Number 7 on the far side is Stevenson. Hansen again. Number 3 for Newcastle there is John Anderson. That was Gary Gillespie beating Mirandinha in the air. Kenny Wharton, number 8. Now, number 2, Neil MacDonald on the far side. Mirandinha on the penalty spot. He might... Too high for him. He scored with his head last week at Old Trafford. Here's Barry Venison. Steve Nicol's gone forward well. Beardsley's in the middle, so is Aldridge. A little push and shove. John Aldridge getting involved. The Newcastle player concerned was, I think, Peter Jackson. And there were gestures exchanged there. Nicol. There goes Venison again. Aldridge waiting in the centre. Whelan in support here. That's meant for Aldridge. May come for Barnes. Stevenson was back. McMahon. Just wonder whether Steve McMahon's performance might arouse a little bit of interest in the mind of Bobby Robson, who's in the stand today. Jackson. McMahon. Lawrenson into Beardsley. Here's Barnes. McMahon. Nicol. And Kenny Wharton got back to concede the corner. Just over 15 minutes gone. Liverpool pushing forward. Barnes and Nicol have come across to this side. Beardsley making his way towards the near post. Aldridge on the far post. And Gary Gillespie by the penalty spot is the Liverpool lineup. And that was none too easy for Gary Kelly. Young goalkeeper there. He's comes from quite a distinguished goalkeeping family. His brother Alan plays for Preston, and in fact is interesting Spurs at the moment, I gather. And their father, Alan Kelly Sr., was a long-serving Preston goalkeeper, now working in the United States. McCreary. Stevenson to MacDonald. Here's Peter Jackson. And Lawrenson blocking the path of Mirandinha. MacDonald. Mirandinha's touch was good. Stevenson. Players waiting in the centre. Here's Mirandinha. Came off Hansen. Wharton blocked it. Goddard's in there. Hodges, Goddard. Goal kick, but one aspect of Mirandini there, Malcolm, he gets his shots in very quickly.
He's very quick on his feet. He's a real two-touch player whenever he's around goal. One touch gets it, and then the next touch is coming like lightning, and defenders have got to be so very, very quick even to get a block in.
Might have been all right for Wyn Davis, that sort of ball, but not for Mirandini, really. Here's Barnes. Number 7, Beardsley. And there goes Barnes again. Danger here. Aldridge, far post. John Anderson and Steve Nicol. What a simple goal for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol puts it away with some aplomb. It's his 4th of the season, in fact, and Newcastle got themselves in a right mess. The sort of start that Liverpool would have been looking for, and Peter Beardsley, against his old club, makes the running here. He finds another of the new players, Barnes. That was really meant for Aldridge. John Anderson's was the mistake. Steve Nichol's was the side foot shot, and the lead belongs to Liverpool.
What I did notice on that, John, was that the fullback has got sucked in to the near post, and 2 players are still behind him. Here comes Nicol now, and if you look, there's still another Liverpool player behind.
That was Aldridge. Now here's Stevenson. Still only 19, the outside right, Paul Stevenson. He's found Mirandini, who's got it back from Goddard. And Mirandini going at them here. And Kenny Wharton and Glyn Hodges were waiting in the centre. Nichol's making a lot of runs ahead of the strikers. This is Aldridge, he's got Nicol in again. Little shove by Peter Jackson possibly, but the referee saw nothing amiss. And in fairness, Steve Nicol didn't appeal. Just under 10 minutes left in the first half. Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1. Here's Aldridge, Peter Jackson's header. Beardsley, Barnes. Play on to well-placed Keith Hackett. And forward by Jackson. Only to Lawrenson, and that made that look easy. Whelan. And again they've got Nicol in front of the strikers, and he was onside, and Gary Kelly had to make 2 decent saves. Steve Nicol there found acres of room. They obviously must have thought he was offside, Newcastle. Nobody went with him at all, and the goalkeeper saved them with a twisting turn and save. Barnes. Aldridge. Foul on the jump, surely. I wouldn't have thought that would count, no. The goal is not given for John Aldridge. Aldridge thought for a split second there that he kept up his record of scoring in every game. Here's Mark Lawrenson, but there's no doubt which side are running the match at the moment. Beardsley. Nicol. Lawrenson has now found room in the Newcastle penalty area. This is Venison. And here's Barnes. And Aldridge this time, 2-0. 38 minutes gone. Liverpool make it look so easy, and John Aldridge keeps a record going of which Ian Rush would be proud. This is the 8th time he started a league match for Liverpool, Aldridge, and he's scored in all 8. He's made it 2-0 here. It's 6 in 6 for him this season, and where do Newcastle go from here, Malcolm?
Well, firstly, they've got to stop giving these silly goals away, where they're allowing Liverpool players in their 2s and 3s to get beyond the fullbacks for crosses.
There goes Beardsley, and that was nearly number 3, as you were saying.
It was indeed. Wherever Liverpool have the ball when they're wide, whether it be deep or in forward positions, players on the other side of the field are looking to make their runs behind fullbacks, and Newcastle really are in total 6s and 7s at the back, and if you can't sort it out from there, you're going to struggle in your play generally. And they're having little fits and starts, but not really punishing Liverpool at all. And Liverpool, of course, are so great at soaking up the pressure, taking the sting out of the situation, and then regaining control once again of the game, as they have done now.
Yes, people will be spotting that Barnes and Aldridge have been very evident, and Beardsley too, who's on the left at the moment as Barnes tries to go through. He finds Whelan, and Gary Kelly is not getting very much protection just now. I can hear some barracking going on among the spectators around me. There goes John Barnes. And he's onside, Barnes, and right through, and Aldridge again! Good stop by Anderson. Well, it could have been embarrassing, this. It could have been 4 or 5. Just see how much space Liverpool are creating. That's Barnes, that's Aldridge, that's Anderson. And Kenny Dalglish's team will be quite satisfied with what they've achieved in the first half here. Here's Barnes. Aldridge left and Nicol on the right. He seems to be playing in a field of his own. Still Nicol. And he's floated one beautifully. No! A player offside in the 6-yard box. Means that goal will not stand. What a pity for Steve Nicol. It was a lovely chip. But there was Kenny Dalglish not happy. But I think you'll find there was a player. It may have been Beardsley or possibly Aldridge. I rather think Beardsley in the 6-yard area. And I suppose they've decided, the linesman and referee, that he was interfering with play, blocking the goalkeeper's line of vision, and that, I would imagine, is why the goal has not stood. But Steve Nicol executed the perfect chip. Here he is again. Stoppage time at the end of the first half. And it's been a quite traumatic 45 minutes for Newcastle and for their supporters, and a thoroughly satisfactory one from the Liverpool point of view. And there are some there's Steve Nicol, but let's just see again what happened as John Barnes brought that ball away from Stevenson. Now look where Anderson is. He's had to go in, and you'll see that Nicol has almost got a pitch of his own out here. He then turns back very nicely. Watch the player in the middle, and there was, when the chip actually was delivered, the first player, Aldridge, in my view, was in an offside position. Although Beardsley came into the picture later, it looked like Aldridge to me who was flagged, and that was why the score remained 2-0. At the Leazer's end there, you can see the temporary seating, almost like the 18th hole at the Open Golf up there, isn't it? In the short term, anyway. And then as you come round to the near side, from which we're broadcasting this afternoon, the famous old stand, built in about 1910, has gone. There's the building site, and the £4 million new structure is going to go shooting up there, they hope, in the next 2 or 3 months. And in fact, the completion date is scheduled for as early as January, when the stand will then look across to that other main grandstand on the far side, and the ground will look spick and span again. But the club have done very well in the meantime, rehousing season ticket holders and so on. What their team need to do now is to produce something on the field to turn around this rather demoralising half-time position for Newcastle United. All sorts of talking points from a Liverpool point of view in the first half, and I suppose one of them is that Steve Nicol could quite easily have had a hat-trick. One disallowed and one saved by the goalkeeper, and having quite an inspired spell after missing so much of last season with injury, Steve Nicol. About to take the throw. Here's Peter Beardsley. Nicol again. McMahon's in there. So too is Stevenson. McDonald forward. Lawrenson. And now McMahon, and there's space again in front of the Newcastle back four here. Nicol. Venison. And Whelan. Venison again. Barnes. And again Nicol. Liverpool's passing so assured. Beardsley. McCreary gets a foot in, much needed. Hodges. And Gillespie came to beat Goddard. Quickly taken free kick. Nicol once again. Header out by McDonald. Oh, not very far though. It's Ronnie Whelan going through. Hodges. Anderson. Well, I saw Liverpool win impressively at Coventry. I also saw them beat Arsenal on the season's opening day, and they appear to be onside. Beardsley. Nichols in the centre, completely unmarked as yet. There he is again. 3-0. The third minute of the second half, and the game goes even further beyond Newcastle, and their old hero Peter Beardsley stabs them through the heart here, finding so much room on the left wing. And Steve Nicol, the man who can do no wrong it would seem, finishes off again to make it Newcastle United 0, Liverpool 3. They've ripped Newcastle apart behind the full-back positions. This was the case of Beardsley just operating in yards of room, and Nicol finishing off at the far post. Coming from the Newcastle sections of the crowd, aimed against the board of directors and possibly the manager. Seems a little harsh because obviously it's the players on the field who are being destroyed here. There goes Aldridge from McMahon, and Peter Jackson able to clear. But John Aldridge very nearly plundering number 4. The Liverpool supporters, who are in the bottom left-hand corner there, are having a wonderful afternoon. Corner to Liverpool. Here's Lawrenson. McMahon. And Lawrenson's in here. Blocked by Kenny Wharton. Lawrenson trying to steer it into the far corner, and a foul. Alan Hansen tangling with Mirandinia, and the free kick given his way. Here's the captain, Roda. Goddard again, play on, says the referee. It was Hansen's challenge. Now Barnes, and just look, Aldridge has gone through again on this side, wondering why he didn't get it, but it went instead to Beardsley. And here's Nicol. And they're through again, Liverpool, with players to spare. Beardsley. Foul on the goalkeeper. But Malcolm, a point Bob Wilson made to Bobby Robson, without Ian Rush, there seems to be even more variety to Liverpool's play.
There certainly does, and on that last goal, the thing that I noticed was it really is a team against 11 individuals, because as the ball was about to be played through, there were 4 Liverpool players all making forward runs, and Newcastle was stood still and just watching.
Here's Goddard. But there's also been a lot of good interceptions by Liverpool in midfield, setting up attacks like this with Barnes. Deflection off David McCreary. But Barnes, but for McCreary, might there have gone on and scored a spectacular goal. Nicol to Aldridge, Jackson to Anderson. Hodges. Goddard's in there. Here comes Stevenson. And they've got 5 in there waiting for a cross, which comes from McDonald. And here's a chance for Goddard, perhaps. Against Hansen. Just over 10 minutes gone in the second half, and if anybody has joined Match of the Day really late, you've missed something of an exhibition from Liverpool, who lead 3-0 and would not have been flattered had the score been double that. This is Venison, and there goes Gillespie on a long run. McCreary's challenge. Steve Nicol has scored 2 of the goals, and John Aldridge the other. And Gary Gillespie is the player who is injured. Referee doesn't seem to want to have the trainer on here, so Gillespie stays down. Liverpool have possession. He's back on his feet at the moment, but hobbling. Here's Hansen. Beardsley. Nicol, Barnes. Beardsley. Nicol again. Well, Malcolm, a midfield player finding goal-scoring positions one after another, Steve Nicol.
They certainly are. The Newcastle midfield just aren't picking up the midfield runs from Liverpool at all, and the Newcastle defence is just becoming totally overburdened.
They're making a change now. Darren Jackson is going to come on to replace Glyn Hodges. Meantime, the treatment continues for Gary Gillespie. And there's one casualty of the afternoon. But without being disrespectful to him or to them, there are at the moment 11 casualties in black and white stripes of this superlative Liverpool display. Newcastle not the first team to wonder exactly how you deal with Liverpool in this mood. There's Darren Jackson. Now Mirandinia, he's away. And Gillespie's trying to get to him, and penalty. Gillespie on Mirandinia. A rare defensive error by Liverpool let him in the first place. Gillespie seemed to catch up with him. Mirandinia went down. You might have your own views at home, but Keith Hackett had no doubt whatever. He pointed straight to the spot, and Mirandinia may have got something here for Newcastle. Gillespie was the offender, and the opposite number 2, Neil MacDonald, is the penalty taker. Robert not on his line at present because he's saying the ball isn't quite on the spot. Here's MacDonald. Put away well. 3-1, and hope for Newcastle. Just what they wanted. Some sort of encouragement, and it's been provided really for the fans by the Brazilian. He found a way through, and that challenge on him has perhaps given his team a lifeline. 61 minutes and 3-1. Now, how do Liverpool respond to that? That was a bad ball by Darren Jackson, picked up by Barnes. Here's Whelan. Beardsley. Free kick. Handball given. Barnes is standing to the right, and that's his floater. Oof. Well, hope here for Newcastle, Malcolm?
Faint at the moment. If they're really going to get back into this game, they're going to need another goal very, very quickly. I think there was definite holding there on Mirandinia, and I think a fair result was had.
Goddard, what can he create here for Stevenson? A chance for Stevenson. Oh, he lost his composure, the youngster. Very easy to say that from up here. Mirandinia actually was waiting in the middle here, as you'll see from the replay, or rather Stevenson didn't see and blazed wide. "20 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 3, and Aldridge releasing Nicol on the far side. Beardsley in the middle. It's still Nicol. He's gone all the way, and that is the hat-trick. What a tremendous personal performance by the Liverpool number 4, the Scottish international. Well, he scored the winner at Arsenal on the opening day of the season. He got 2 at Coventry, and now he scores 3 at Newcastle. And makes it 4-1 in the 66th minute. Jimmy Hill made the point at the very start of the afternoon that all the attention had been on Mirandinia, Beardsley and Barnes, but would some lesser star, not lesser star really, but lesser name, steal the show? Here's Mirandinia. Clean tackle by Hansen, but he's kept possession. Barnes this time. Wharton. And Mirandinia. Surely. Goddard, no! Body's in the way. Anderson. McCreary. Darren Jackson. McDonald. Well, chances there for 4-2, no question, but Liverpool got defenders back and they blocked the efforts of Mirandinia and then Goddard. Liverpool are preparing to make a substitution. They've got Nigel Spackman ready. And Gary Gillespie is the player coming off. He took a knock earlier on and was hobbling for a while. And perhaps wasn't at full throttle when he collided with Mirandinia in that penalty incident. Anyway, that's history now. Spackman is on. McCreary. Anderson. Wharton. Roda. Everybody forward here, Newcastle, including McDonald again. McDonald. Shaking off Mirandinia, finding Lawrenson, Aldridge, Barnes. There must be 7 passes strung together there by Liverpool, taking the play from one side of the pitch right to the other touchline. There goes Venison for the return from Nicol. What a great move that was. In many ways, Liverpool have unveiled a new team this year, and the early signs are that once again they're the standard by which others will be measured, and that's Spackman. Under 5 minutes to go now here at St James's Park. Comprehensive victory for Liverpool. 4-1 is the score at the moment. Steve Nicol has got 3 of them, and John Aldridge scored the other. Here's Barnes. Oh, good effort and a good save by Gary Kelly from John Barnes. It's Peter Jackson's header down to Barnes. Time perhaps for one more Liverpool attempt. Barnes finds Beardsley. Aldridge makes the run across. Oh, it nearly went straight in. Aldridge took the attention of Glenn Roeder, but fortunately for Newcastle, not that of Gary Kelly, who kept his eye on the ball. Otherwise, Beardsley's effort would have curled in, perhaps. Here's McMahon. Whelan. Barnes. And again. Venison gets the free kick. Well into stoppage time now here at St James's. There were a couple of injuries which mean that Keith Hackett has added on a minute or two. Here's McMahon. Spackman. Whelan. And there it is. The home fans disappointed. 3 successive defeats here for Newcastle United. But for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol in particular with a hat-trick, another fine performance and another result which will make the rest of the First Division sit up and take notice. They've now got a record of 5 wins and a draw in their 6 league matches so far, Liverpool. They're in 3rd place. John Aldridge got the other goal. They have 2 games in hand of the teams above them, Queen's Park Rangers and Tottenham, and they're being applauded off very generously by Newcastle supporters as well as Liverpool fans, because that really was a championship-type display, albeit so early in the season. And again, one has to ask the question, who is going to beat Liverpool? Let's hear from the man who scored 3 goals today, Steve Nicol, who's with Bob Wilson.
Steve, only 6 league games gone, and yet your name appears with 6 goals. What's going on here?
Well, I think that's all down to my teammates and all. I'm getting in the right place and they're putting it through, so as long as I keep it going, I'm quite happy.
I think when Ian Rush was here, everybody expected Liverpool to play in a certain way. It does appear now that there are more options open to players like yourself.
Well, everybody's trying to do a wee bit as well as stick in with the team, so I mean, at the moment we've only had 6 games, I think, and I say it's early days yet.
Congratulations, thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers, thanks.